everybody, and welcome to the All About Health podcast. My name is Georgia Overbeck, and I'm your host. I hope you're having a fabulous day and you are ready to learn some things from this episode because we're going to be talking about more simple acts to save our planet. If this is your first time listening to one of these episodes, it is a series that I do on the podcast every month or so. The last time that we uploaded one of these episodes was August 7th, and today it is September 13th, so just over a month. And I love doing these episodes because I learn so much from them. The environment and being as eco-friendly, eco-conscious as possible is something that is very important to me and is one of my values. And so just being able to share a little bit this way, small, simple things that we all can do to make just a little bit of change, I really believe in it, and I hope that you get something from these episodes. This is the fourth installment of this series, so if you haven't listened to the other ones yet, I will link them down below as well if you want to go back and listen to those either for the first time or again. Now, before we get into the episode, we do have to do our weekly recap. So let's talk about that first. So this is actually the first solo episode in about a week and a half. I had, over the last 3 episodes, I had my dad on the podcast, and then I had my friend Riley Brennan on the podcast for the last 2 episodes. With my dad, we talked about some fitness frequently asked questions, and then with Riley, we did an episode where she was giving her advice for anyone going into their 20s if you are already in your 20s, and that episode was so good. You need to listen to that if that is the stage of life that you're in. And then the other episode that Riley and I recorded together was all about running and her journey and overcoming injury and her tips for beginners, and just so much valuable information in all 3 of those episodes. So if you haven't listened to those yet, I also would recommend to go back and listen to those. But this is the first time that I'm doing a solo episode in a little while, and it feels like I have a lot to catch you up on. So a week and a half ago is when Riley came and stayed with us, and we had a little barbecue get together with a bunch of our friends, and that was so fun. And then Riley and I obviously recorded the 2 podcast episodes together, which I had so much fun doing those, and I hope that you got a lot of information or enjoyed those podcast episodes as well. The next little thing that I want to update you on with this weekly recap is that when this episode goes live, so I believe it'll be the 14th, I will be on day 62, 63 of the 75 Hard Challenge, 63. And I am so proud of myself I'm almost done this challenge. I only have a little bit left. Percentage wise, I only have 12 days left when I upload this, and I'm so proud of myself. It's not been easy. There have definitely been times when I have not wanted to do everything on the list, but I still have pushed through and completed it. I am planning on doing a whole 75 hard recap episode once I finish the challenge, but a little bit of an update on it so far. So I am 61 days in as I'm recording this, and so far I am down 9 pounds, and overall I just feel really good. I feel really accomplished. I'm very proud of myself, as I said before, and I feel like I have a really good routine and kind of schedule with all of these things that I have to do. And I just have been feeling really good, and I feel like it's almost, now that I'm almost done, it's kind of gotten to that stage where it's not easy, but it's easier than it was in the beginning. And again, I'll talk about this in my 75 Hard Experience recap episode, but at the beginning of the 75 Hard Challenge, it was an adjustment for sure, because I had not been as active as I was for this challenge. I started being in a calorie deficit, so I had less less food in my body. And so overall it was just an adjustment period. And now I feel like I'm kind of just in like cruise control. Like I know what to do and I just have to get it done. And so I am ready to finish off these last 12 or 13 days off strong. And I'm just excited to complete the challenge and to see what comes after that, but also just to continue seeing the progress that I am making within this challenge. And the last thing I'm going to mention for this recap right now is that as I'm recording this, it is September 13th. So I don't know about you, but for me, we're kind of heading into fall. I feel like I'm slowly heading into the fall vibe. And the reason that I say that is because just over the past couple of days and weeks, I've been starting to wear more like sweatpants and sweaters and socks and slippers. And I've been starting to light candles and I've been having tea in the evenings. And it's our pumpkin challenge this week as part of our online fitness coaching. I choose a fruit and a vegetable every week, and then we kind of try to incorporate that into our meals to increase diversity. And this week, because pumpkin is starting to be in season, it is pumpkin. And so I've made multiple recipes with pumpkin. And so I don't know if I'm gonna say that I'm 100% in the fall mood yet, but I feel myself slowly going that way and getting ready for that season. I am planning on doing some more like fall related podcast episodes and content, but I'll wait until fall actually hits for that, just in case I have anybody who is still in summer mode and you're not ready for fall yet. I do want to keep you in mind as well. But yeah, so those are some updates of recently what's been going on in my life. And let's get into the episode. So if you're new to this series, whenever I do this series, I have this book called Simple Acts to Save Our Planet by Michelle Neff. And my mom actually got me this book when we were in Hawaii around Christmas time. And I love it. I find it's really helpful and just gives a lot of small, simple ways to make small changes that can impact the environment. And so I really love going over these with you. And again, I hope that you enjoy it as well. So let's get started. Let me just open the book here. Okay, so I'm gonna read it and then I'll go through if I have anything else I want to add on. So the first one says, buy a laptop. Are you in the market for a new computer? Laptops use half as much energy as desktop computers. Make sure you choose a laptop with an Energy Star rating. That is something that I didn't know. I didn't know that laptops are use less energy than desktops. I have an Apple MacBook, so I'm not sure if it is an Energy Star rating, but that is good to know, and good to know especially if you're in the market for a new laptop or computer. Next says to empty your dryer's lint filter after every load. A dirty lint filter can cause your dryer to use up to 30% more energy to dry clothes. This quick fix will help increase energy efficiency. So to be honest, this is something that I could get better at, and something I'm already going to be taking away from this episode. I feel like it's easy just to forget or to say, oh, the next time I empty the dryer, I'll take out the lint. But I'm going to have to hold myself accountable to make sure that I'm doing it more often, because this is something so easy that I can definitely start doing. Next says to turn off the faucet when brushing your teeth. This one is really easy. When getting your pearly whites clean, turn off the faucet so you don't waste water. This is definitely something that I try to do no matter if I'm brushing my teeth or if I'm doing the dishes or washing my hands or having a shower or whatever it is. I try and turn off the water if I'm not actually using it in that moment. Again, a super small, simple way to be a little bit more eco-friendly. Next is to purchase renewable energy from your local power company. Contact your power company and see if renewable energy, sometimes called green or clean energy, can be used to power your home. Another great way to go green. Next is to use an eco-friendly cutting board. Replace your old cutting board with one made of an environmentally friendly material like bamboo, cork, or reclaimed wood. It's an easy way to cut back on plastic use and prevent harmful chemicals from coming into contact with your food. I love a bamboo cutting board or a wooden cutting board. They just feel so much nicer as well. And so the fact that they're more environmentally friendly is just even better and a bonus. I do love a good wooden cutting board. Next is to sport an eco-friendly message on your car. Adding a bumper sticker to your car with a message about protecting the planet is a great way to get the word out. Give people something to think about every time you drive. I think this is something that you can do on multiple things. Like, it doesn't have to be just your vehicle. I have eco-friendly stickers on my water bottle. You could put them on your phone case or your laptop or something that you carry around with you a lot, and then people will see them and hopefully notice and start thinking about it. Next, we have install a better shower head. High efficiency shower heads use less water than standard shower head models. Next, switch to dishwasher powder that is biodegradable and plant-based. Dishwasher powder can contain bleach and phosphates that harm river and marine life and can also leave a chemical residue on your dishes. I'm actually looking for a more eco-friendly, better for you and better for the environment dishwasher, powder or detergent. So if you have any recommendations, please let me know in the comments or message me. I definitely want to find something like that. I recently got a dish soap that was better for the environment and laundry detergent and some toilet cleaner and stuff like that. So I'm slowly transitioning my cleaning products to better for the environment and better for me. So again, if you have any recommendations for anything dishwasher related, that would be fantastic. Next is to purchase organic cotton t-shirts. Organic cotton uses less water and is not treated with chemicals like pesticides. The use of chemicals in conventional cotton production has unfortunately caused environmental pollution by contaminating the water and diminishing the quality of the land. I definitely think that when buying something new, something that I try to do is to buy from more eco-friendly and sustainable stores and shops. And if I'm not, then I like to buy secondhand. I think that buying secondhand is an amazing thing that I've talked about a lot, so I'm not going to go on about it too much, but definitely some great tips in that one. Next is to start a book club. Knowledge is power. Get a few friends together and start an environmental book club in your area. By reading up on the latest environmental news and issues, you'll empower yourself and others to take action for the planet. I would love to start reading more environmental books. I would say that the one that I'm reading right now out of definitely is part of that. If you have any recommendations of books that are kind of talking more about eco-friendly ways to live and just the environment and things like that, also let me know. I would really appreciate that. Next, use biodegradable cat litter. Ever think about what happens to all that cat litter when you scoop out your four-legged friend's box? It's not a pretty sight. Using biodegradable cat litter will help the planet and keep your BFF happy. This is something I'm definitely going to keep in mind when I get a cat or my cats one day. I definitely want to be able to take care of my cat in a more eco-friendly way, whether that's through their food or their toys or their cat litter or whatever it is. And this is something that I'm definitely going to try my best to do once I get my cats one day. Next is to quit smoking. Not only is smoking bad for your health, but it's also bad for the planet when cigarette butts line city streets and sidewalks. All right, moving on. We have save prescription bottles. Don't know what to do with all those prescription bottles from the pharmacy when they are empty? You could donate them to your local animal shelter. Many shelters will happily reuse the prescription bottles to hold medicine for animals. Prescription bottles are also nifty for when you're traveling and need a place to store jewelry, or even to store small tacks and screws around the house. Their small size makes them quite handy, and you'll help keep them out of landfills. Helping the environment is all about creative ways to reduce and reuse. I definitely like this idea. I feel like you could use those little containers for so many things, especially when you need something quick and small to just store something. I really like the idea of how they were saying when you need to store jewelry or something when you're traveling. I think that that's an awesome option. And yeah, I think that's a great idea. There's so many different things to do with those little bottles. Next, don't pre-rinse dishes before putting them in the dishwasher. Use decent detergent and your dishes will be just as clean while using less water. Again, this kind of goes back to turning off the water when you don't need it. I agree with this one. If you're gonna be putting your dishes in the dishwasher already, obviously you don't want them covered in food, but if they're already clear of things, if there's no food on them, then I like to put them just straight in the dishwasher. Next is to ditch the party cups. They may be convenient when hosting a get-together, but all those single-use cups have to go somewhere at the end of the day, and that somewhere is the landfill. If you must use single-use cups, ask everyone to write their name on their cup so they don't need to keep getting new ones. Next is to use old receipts as bookmarks. Instead of buying a bunch of plastic bookmarks, simply use scrap pieces of paper or old receipts to hold your place in the book. Book lovers can certainly be mindful of their consumption too. I feel like there are so many things that can be used as bookmarks instead of buying a new one. Like, for example, I use business cards, I'll use old receipts, as the book said. You could do like little pieces, like sticky notes or any random pieces of paper that you have around, I think are great options. And it's really fun. Sometimes, actually most of the time, I get my book from secondhand stores or thrift stores. And sometimes I'll find an old receipt or an old note or an old letter or something like that in the book that somebody used as a bookmark. And it's super fun and very interesting to read what people have either bought or what's on the note. So I definitely love this idea, and there's so many different ways and different things you can use as a bookmark. Next, we have donate your old car. Many nonprofit organizations will gladly take old cars free of charge. You'll get the old car out of the way and help contribute to the mission of a nonprofit organization working for a better world. Next, try letting nature water your yard when it rains. Instead of watering your garden with the hose, this natural alternative will help you cut back on water use, garden efficiently, and save money. Next is to recycle or reuse all newspapers. Use newspaper as animal bedding for small mammals to prevent old papers from ending up in landfills. You can also shred the newspaper and use it to line your cat's litter box. Something else that I like to use old newspaper for is like if you're packing something and you want to make sure that it is still safe, especially if it's something like glass, wrapping it in old newspaper is great for that. Or sometimes I sell things on Poshmark, and so if I need something to kind of fill up the box a little bit, I'll add some newspaper, but there are lots of things you can use newspaper for. Next is to use a clothesline. Instead of using your dryer's energy, let Mother Nature dry your clothes. Next, take a shower instead of a bath. Taking a shower usually results in less water use than bathing. A low-flow shower head uses about 20 gallons for a 10-minute shower, and a standard shower head uses about 25 gallons for 10 minutes. A bathtub averages about 30 gallons of water. I didn't know this. I would have guessed it's the other way around, that a bath would be more sustainable and like use less water, but I guess I shower more, so this is good and something I'll continue to do. That's a really interesting fact, and I'm glad to know that. Next is to use a handkerchief instead of tissues. It's bound to happen at some point. You get sick. When you do, opt for a hanky instead of paper tissues. This will help keep countless tissues out of the landfill. You'll also reduce your plastic consumption since most tissue boxes have a plastic window. Simply carry a handkerchief around with you when you're feeling under the weather. Next is to turn off the lights when you're not in the room. Unless you're about to come right back, there's no need to have lights on when you're not using them. I feel like when you're a kid, or at least when I was a kid, this is something that my dad always told me as well, and I think that he did it for like the electrical lighting bill, but also it does help the environment as well. So definitely something that I still try to do to this day. Next is to use a watering can instead of a hose to water plants. That way you'll use only the amount of water needed to water your plants. Next is to support bike lanes in your area. Bike lanes are designated areas on roadways for bikers to use, usually marked by signage. If your area doesn't have bike lanes, or if your area doesn't have enough, support them by voicing your opinion at local city council meetings. It's important to have bike lanes if we want to encourage bikes over the use of cars for transportation. Next is to recycle unwanted hangers. Wire hangers are generally made out of steel and are not recyclable, but you can give them to your local dry cleaner so that they can reuse them. Next is to keep your fireplace flue damper closed when not in use. During seasons when you're not using the fireplace, keeping the damper open is essentially the same as having an open window or open door in your home, and all of the energy used to keep your home cool or warm will go to waste. Next, say no to styrofoam. Styrofoam takes thousands of years to break down, wreaking havoc on the planet. Instead, opt for reusable containers or biodegradable paper products. All right, we have 4 more and then we will finish off this episode. So this one says use an online directory. Opt out of a paper telephone directory in favor of an online version. If you must use a paper telephone directory, make sure you recycle when finished. Next, go camping. Camping is one of the best ways to appreciate the earth and save energy you would use in your home. Forget the hustle and bustle of the city, lie out under the stars, and enjoy a relaxing campfire for a weekend. You'll feel rejuvenated and you may learn a thing or two about the outdoors while you're at it. Next, invest in a solar oven. Use the sun's natural energy to cook instead of using your own or having your own exert the energy to heat up. And then the last one for this episode is to sign online petitions. Signing petitions is quick, effective, and a great way to use your voice for good, and doing so online reduces paper waste. Don't forget to share the petitions on your social media pages to spread the message. And with that, I'm going to end off this episode here. Thank you so much for listening, especially if you made it all the way through. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you got some ideas of things you may want to add in or take out of your life. I would love to know which ones really resonated with you the most, so you can either comment them down below or message me on Instagram or even screenshot you listening to this episode and posting it to your Instagram stories. I would appreciate that so much. Thank you again for listening. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I will see you in the next episode.